Hey everybody, it's Brooke. The creepy baby and I are back to do page number 3. So here's our book that we're working on, but let me show you in the other one that I'm making, the other Jalbum, let me show you what page 3 looks like. This is the album part of our Jalbum, totally inspired by Genevieve. I'm sure you guys all know her. I will link Jen down below. And this page looks like this. So you have a tag here that you pull out, big giant index card for journaling in this beautiful orange color. And then here's your page. Here's a pocket with a tag, which goes back in there. Really, it does. And then this side opens up, so you have all of this space, and this is a nice deep pocket. So that's what we're going to make today. So get your creepy baby things out and come on back. We'll get right to it. All right, I'm ready to go. Are you ready to go? Here's the book that we're working in. We'll get back to that second hinge. That's where we're going. This is my base page, all ready to go. And that's going to fit right on this hinge in the middle. So let's put our book out of the way. And you know how I am. Let's do a measure to try to get it in my brain how big our base page is. It is 9.25 by 5.75. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is make sure, well, you don't have to do it on this side, but I'm working on the front, which means that my opening is over here on the left. So that's what will slide onto the hinge. So the first thing I'm going to do is make that right hand pocket. I've printed this page from the Facebook freebie group of pages. If you're not a member of the Facebook group, please come and join us. We have so much fun. And I try to put out a freebie every Friday. I'll put a link up there in the corner. Come join us. Make sure to answer those 3 easy questions, and I bet you'll get in. Okay, so I printed this on one side, and then I printed this background page on the other side. And I'm sorry, my allergies are terrible again, so my voice is kind of froggy. So these creepy, creepy dolls are going to be our pocket on the right-hand side. So we need to cut this. Let me get out the cutter. Oh, I've got a big old stack of stuff over there. So here's my giant cutter. And let's see, if our page is 9 1/4 tall, that means we need a 1/2 inch on the top and the bottom to fold. So that means it needs to be 10 1/4. Look at me mathing on the fly. So we will just put this in the cutter, and I'm going to take the bit off the bottom. Put that aside. So I forgot to mention also, I printed this on cardstock. Thinking this is ivory colored Michael's 65-pound cardstock. So then to make our pocket part, we're going to need to fold it on this side. And I want it, let's see. Let me grab out the other one and measure it. I'm trying to remember how wide I made it. So this pocket was 2 3/4 wide. So if we want it to be 2 3/4 wide, we need to add a 1/2 inch for our folding on that side. So what is that, 2 3/4? That is 3 1/4. Okay. I will, don't cut it that way, cut it this way. And we will put it right there. And I might actually make this a little bit wider, you guys, because I'm going to be cutting into those babies, and I don't really want to. I'm going to cut it at 3 what is that? 5/8. No. 3 3/4. Goodness grief. Goodness grief. I just made up a whole new exclamation. I don't think that's a thing. Okay, so put that to the side. And we've got this. Move this for a moment and get out our giant scoreboard. So here's our scoreboard. Okay, so what we want to have happen is we want a 1/2 inch score on the right hand side So that's going to be right here. Still going to cut off some of our creepy babies, but that just can't be helped with this layout. And let's see, we'll score at 1/2 inch on the bottom. And we'll score at 1/2 inch. Oops, 1/2 inch at the top. There we go. Now let's cut out our little divots. We want to make sure to miter those corners. It's going to be kind of hard for you guys to see, but if I bend this, I bet I can see it. So right where the score marks intersect, just going to take a little nip. Not too much, just enough to reduce the bulk. And let's go ahead and fold those. And it would probably behoove us to double check that that fits properly on the page. As I said, you know, check, check, and double check. I have to anyway. All right, perfect, looking good. Okay, so that's going to be the pocket on that side, and then we need to have our pocket or our flap on this side. So let's see. Looks like we're going to lose Poe, but what are you going to do? Actually, we'll lose most of anything over there because we're going to put a pocket on. So we want that to be, because we adjusted the width of this pocket, I'll have to adjust the width of our flap. Ooh, let's get that. The flap will have to be a little narrower, but that is okay. So that's 2.5, so we actually want it to be 3 inches wide. So we've got 2.5 to be the flap, and then we need 1/2 inch on this side to make the hinge. Hopefully that makes sense. So let's get out our cutter and decide, what do we want to do? Which part do we want? I don't really want this part, so I think what I'll do is trim that off so we get a little closer to the label edge. Put that right there. Cut that down. We're not going to be matching a pattern or anything, so that will be good. So then we can do this. How wide is that? Let's just see how wide this is. We said 3, right? Oh, so we're going to lose a lot of our label, but there you go. It's going to happen. So I did say 3, right? So that's 3 inches. Save that. That's a cool strip. Okay. So is it the right height? It is not the right height because I was just measuring it on the page. Because we don't need the folds on the top or the bottom, we need this to be 9.25 tall. So I think I'm going to take that mostly off of the bottom. Let's see, 9.25. Oh, that's not the bottom, that's the top. Gosh, where's my brain today? It's kind of, excuse me, you guys. 1 second. I'm so sorry. I thought I had turned my phone on silent, but I had not. That must have been annoying. I apologize. All right, so this is the right height now. Get this out of the way and do our score, right? And all we need to score on this one is the 1/2 inch on the left-hand side. So I like to turn it upside down so I can score over here. I just find it easier to score on my right. And that's 1/4, and there's our 1/2 inch right there. Excellent. So we can fold that over, and we will burnish it. Put this down. Whoa, craft-a-lanch. That must have been so loud. I'm so sorry. We'll just nip these corners in a bit. Throw that away. And let's double check here. Got the right height. We got the right width. Look at, oh, I like how those go together also. Okay, So the edges look great. That works for me. So I'm going to cover up this base page. So I printed this page, which is one of the background pages. Nothing needed on the back because that's going to be glued right down. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the base page to be about 9.25, which is the height, 5.75, which is the width, and I'm just going to take a teeny little sliver off those measurements, not much at all. So once again, pulling out the big cutter. So we need this to be 9 1/4 less a tiny little bit, not much at all, just a little tiny bit. That way, and 5.75 minus just a little tiny bit going that way. And that's just to give us a little bit of wiggle room if we need it. Grab that. And I haven't tried this before, so we'll see how this goes. It could be a crazy risk, but let's just see. I'm going to double check that this matches pretty well. It does. That looks great. So I think what I will do is I'm going to ink the top and the bottom of this. Just a little bit, just define those edges a little bit. I'm not going to worry about the side ones because those are good. They'll stand out against these pages. Okay, just a little bit there. And I'm going to glue our flaps onto the base page. I don't know if that's allowed. Am I breaking some sort of rule? Maybe I am. I don't know. But you know what? I do want this inked some. I'm so sorry. I know it's boring. Some places it's just too hard to go back afterwards and get it inked. But I just want to define those edges. I'm really liking how the black soot is working out for inking this. I think it's pretty cool. Different than vintage photo, which I usually use. And I think branching out is a good thing. Trying something different, very fun. So I'll grab my art glitter glue. I'll knock a bunch of stuff over again. I did take allergy meds, and they're making me woo-woo. And not really knocking back the allergy symptoms that much. Go figure. I don't think that's right at all. I'm going to get that up over that. There we go. And get some glue on this last flap. Getting right to those edges. Excellent. I'm actually going to turn this sideways so I can see better where to line this up. I put my glue page out just so I don't get glue all over my mat. That never-ending struggle. Not pressing it down yet. Trying to get it right where I want it. That looks great. Just great. So there we go. Get out my pressy downy tool. That's technical talk, you know. Awesome. So our pocket is there. Not hanging over. It's looking good. And then I want to take this guy, and instead of gluing it so that the hinge is on this page, that was why I did this, I want to glue it so the hinge goes around to the back. And I think I'm going to like that. So let's put some glue on here. Hopefully I'm staying in frame. And then I want to line this page up. Ooh, don't grab yet. Right into that crease. Make sure the top and the bottom are aligned. I'm not sure that they are. Don't want to press it down yet. There we go. Nice. Got a little glue right there. Let me get out my glue eraser so we don't glue it closed. Awesome. Ooh, and I hit it too hard. Got a little bit of a tear, but that's okay. Doesn't even show. we can bend that over. And why do we have a gap? That was why I made that. That's why I made our base page a little wider. So, that is no good. Okay, guys, it happens. This is real life. So I'm going to try to pull this off without destroying our base page. Woo! And we made it. It was still damp enough. I don't understand why that happened. Nope, it is. I think what I'm going to need to do is cut a little bit off our base page. So, live experiment. May not have worked that well. Bummer. So let's go ahead and trim off just a little bit. That does not feel like it cut terribly straight. So I should have actually made that flat a little wider, is what I'm thinking. Let's see if this will work. Let's have a look-see. So I cut maybe 1/8 of an inch off the edge of that. That should work just perfectly. Let's make sure it's still going to go on here okay. We are going to have now a little bit of a border on our base page. But the colors are okay, and it's going to be on that left-hand side. I think I will be okay with that. I think it's going to be fine. So let's just try that again. Why? I should not try things live until I've tried them privately. But where's the fun in that, right? Okay, let's just try that again. Slide that in there. Up to that crease line, got the top and the bottom. There we go. Much better. Much, much better. That works. So we'll get out our pushy tool. Once again, too much glue. I seem to be going crazy with glue. Try to wipe some of that off. Okay. And that closes just beautifully. So now we need our card to go in here. Oh, and now it's a little too wide for it to fit exactly right. This is a little too close. So we will just take, I'm going to use the cutter. I was going to try to use my blade, but no. This is kind of a hot mess, huh? We'll get there. So I will just, again, just taking off a fraction. Rather too little than too much. How are you fitting together now? Still could use another fraction. Okay, line that up. And really, you guys, I mean, this is what I'm talking about when I say a fraction. You can barely even see what I took off. Hopefully it'll be enough to keep it from crashing. Nope, still need one more fraction. Come on. This is when I go crazy and then I take off too much and get crabby. But I'm going with another fraction. Not losing my patience. And, yep, once again, we've got a gap. So there you go. Maybe gluing it to the base first is not a great idea. However, I think I'm okay with that. So I'm going to ink this edge. Let's move this cutter. Get out the ink for real. I was trying to just use what was on the sponge, and there was not enough. There we go. Nice. Yep, again, really defines that edge. So you close that up, and I had already put a little piece of decor on the bottom of this beautiful orange index card that came from Amy at Darkwood Sanctuary. I will list Amy down below. Get that in there. There we go. And I love that. Let's put a little tab on that. I have some of my excess fabric just in a pile to my left. And I think I'll just use a little bit of that has the orange on it. Guess I'll have to find another scrap. This one's about done. Oh, it does not want to tear that direction at all. So I guess we'll just cut it. We'll try to cut it. There we go. Get out my tiny attacher. Another thing I wanted to do before we got started with this project, and I totally forgot, was to take some of my tiny attacher staples and color them with bronze or gold alcohol ink. It looks great in the staples, and I just totally forgot. So that's something you could do if you wanted. Get that on there. Staple it. And then use Sweet Elizabeth's trick. So smart. Elizabeth at Never Hopeless by Elizabeth. The woman's a genius. I will link her down below, of course. She recommended using pliers to give those a good smash. You can't even feel that they're there. There's no rough spot at all, and I think that's a great tip. So then that card goes in there, and that serves to keep this side closed. But first, before we put it on our base page, we need to make a pocket right here. And I have a scrap from the Tim Holtz abandoned 8x8 scrap paper or scrapbook paper pad. Wow, that was complicated. This is just one of the scraps, and I love the colors and the textures on this particular page. So we need to make a skinny little pocket for right there, or you could put it on this side, whichever you like. Almost thinking. Nope, I think I want to put it on this side. So how wide is our flap? Our flap is 2 3/8. So we'll need the pocket to be cut at 2 5/8 wide, and however tall we want it. I think I would like it to go to about there. And that is, let's see, let's make it 2 inches just to make the mathing a little easier. So we need it to be 2 5/8 wide and 2 1/2 inches tall. We can use the little cutter for that. I'm going to take just a little bit off the top because it looks like it was torn. And I don't want that torn looking edge. So we said 2 5/8 wide. There we go. And 2 1/2 tall, right? 2 1/2 tall does not look right. Let's try 3 1/2. I think perhaps I was mistaken. That looked too short, and I still have some awesome scraps from that. I love this paper pad. Get out our little scoreboard. Okay, so I miscalculated again. So instead of 1/2 inch gussets on either side, we're going to have 1/4 inch. So I'm going to score, let's see, 1/4 inch on either side. So that's for our sides, and then we can do a 1/2 inch for the bottom. I did the math right on that one, I hope. Fold that. Fold that. Let's make sure that's the right width. Still a little skinny, isn't it? I'd already made the tag for it. This is from our freebies page. I take that back. This is not from the freebies. This is the new add-on Creepy Baby kit in the shop. And that is not going to come close to fitting in there. But that is okay. We'll find a different tag. And I think I'm okay with that one being kind of skinny. I think that'll all be just fine. So let's ink this up because it is kind of blendy-inny. I think I do want to put a notch in it. So we'll grab our circle punch. Try to get that somewhere in the center. Oh, that's somewhere in the center. Get that inked up. I did not cut our little notches at the bottom. Let's do that. And I'm not giving you exact measurements. I mean, I sort of am in passing on mine, but they'll all change depending on the size of the book you use. Okay, just glue those little pieces down. And then we, oop, not sticking. And then we can glue the whole pocket in place. And that's good because that covers up the little bit of Poe that was sticking out. Try to get that centered and straight. That is excellent. I love how that looks. Get our scoreboard out of the way. Some of these little scraps. And it's a shame because I love this tag, but we would have to cut off. Well, you know what? We could probably do that. How much is that? If we cut 1/4 of an inch off either side, that will fit in. Let's do that. Because I like how that tag looks there. So we can just turn it over to get a straight edge. And it is 2 5/8. So if we do 1/4 of an inch, that will be right there. And do the same thing on the other side. Oh, let's do it this way so we can measure against a flat edge. And there's 1/4 of an inch right there. Get our string out of the way. Don't want to chop our string. It is going to cut the crow's beak off, but there you go. I guess he's not a crow. He's a raven. Oh, that looked like way too much. Hey guys, I'm a menace today. And we'll have to even that up to match the other side. There we go. I still really like that tag. I'm just going to need to re-ink the edges. I tried to save you from having to watch that, but then I cut the inked edge off, so there you go. Perfect. Let's see if our tag fits in there now. Wouldn't that be groovy? Oh, it does. Perfectly. Look at that. That makes me super happy. And there we go. Look at that. And then this guy goes, whoops, in there. So that is, let me put the pin back in here. That is how page 3 in the album section goes. So you pull out your index cards, you've got all that beautiful room. This can be anything that you want, any cardstock, any paper, whatever. And then you've got your pocket there with a tag, and this flaps open, and you've got all this space in here. I think this is a great one. Thank you, Genevieve, for the cool inspiration. And that's that. Let's grab our base page, and we can put this on there. And I'm trying to decide if I might center it kind of so we have a little bit of this original paper showing on both sides. So I think I will use my art glitter glue. And just get a good coverage up to the edges. Make sure those edges are covered. Get some down the center. And what are the odds I can get this on in one? I don't know. I just don't know. I feel confident. I do. Pretty sure this is going to be great. So let's make sure it's not upside down. It is not. Eyeball it before I drop it. Oh, you know, I think it's going to be easier to do it sideways. There we go. I can see a little bit more there without putting my noggin up in your face. There we go. That's pretty straight. Looking pretty good. And there we have it. There's our base page on our pocket page on top of our base page. I love this. So then the next video, we will go ahead and work on page 4. Let's see, we're at 30 minutes. Now you guys, you know what? I'm going to stop it here and I'll make a separate video because at 30 minutes is probably long enough. Sorry I've been such a hot mess today. Hopefully I'll be feeling better for the next one. Thanks for watching, and there's that again. Make your own Jalbum. I hope you're having a fun time with it, and I will talk to you really soon. Thanks for stopping by. Bye.